So we're going to start with looking at the shape they give us, which is made up of cubes. And we can tell by looking at it, hopefully, that it's 2 cubes wide, 1 cube deep, and 3 cubes tall. Now on my drawing, let's make each cube side, let's make it 2 blocks. So that would be 2, 4, 6 blocks tall, for example. We're going to draw a light box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a light line, 6 tall. I'm going to have to make mine a little darker so you can see it. And then we got to go across 2 cubes. I'm going to make each of those, once again, 2 blocks. So that's 2, 4 blocks across. And that's going to be the front face of this imaginary box that we're going to place this in. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because on the right side, just like the example I did in the previous video, we're going to do cabinet. And on the left side, we'll do cavalier. So starting from the same thing where we start with the front, now we got to figure out how big is this box going to be going back. Well, it's 1 length back, so it's going to be 2 cubes. For the cavalier, that means, I'll draw a nice light construction line, that means we're going to go 2 blocks backwards. That would be this far, right here. 2 blocks. So I'll go ahead and do that at a 45-degree angle to about here. And I'll do the same thing over here. Let's just make sure I got 45. Nice construction line. Give me the right direction. And to about here and here. So I have nice light lines. This is a box in which we're going to contain this thing. We're going to do the same thing here, except we're not going to go back 2 blocks. We're only going to go back 1 block, half as far. That's what the deal is with cabinet. So we're going to go 1 block back. So let's see, 45 degrees for these, looks like that. And then we're going to go 1 block back, almost there, and sketch our sides in there. So this box that we've drawn is going to contain this thing right here. Yeah, let me try this so you can get a better look at it too. That might help a little bit for us as well. Okay. So now we're going to start filling in the pieces. So for example, this is definitely on the shape, so we'll go this line here. And then we go up 2 blocks. And then over 2 blocks. Remember, one's cube has 2 blocks. Each side is 2 blocks. And then from there we go all the way up. So we're just going to fill in the actual face and do dark lines on both of these. And it'll look the same in this case for both, because this is the front face. It's not the part that goes back. So I get that front face in there first for each of these. There we go. Bring it up a little bit. Now, we're going to go, everything goes back 1 block, 1 cube length there, which is 2 little blocks on my graph paper. So I just have to make sure that I go back. Let's see. Well, this corner here is an easy one. It goes all the way back inside my box. I've already got that. It goes to there. Now, this, I'm going to sketch a 45. But I'm only going to go until I hit this point, and now I know that I'm at the top of this. So I complete that top. Let's see, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go back at 45 until I hit that line. See, the box helps me. I don't have to try to figure out how far back to go anymore. I already know. And then the same thing here. Oops. Let's see, then I'll connect these two. Alright, now I got to do the same thing in this corner. So this is the tricky part. I got to go at a 45 I have to go back. Now here I might want to mark that off with my card. I want to go back 2 blocks. So here's my card marked at 2 blocks. And in this corner, I'm going to also go back 2 blocks to about here. And then I'm going to go across. There it is. And then I'm going to go straight down from here. There we go. You might want to practice that again. All right, or rewind it and try it on your own, and then rewind it and do it again. Any piece of graph paper will work. Right. And then we can erase some of the construction lines. You don't have to right now, because in a way I like to see the construction lines. That way I know you're doing it the way you should. Now, for this, we only went half as far back, but the way we do it is exactly the same. I go 45, but I only go to here. And I connect those two. And I do, let's see, let's do this one. I go back at 45 to there. Back at 45 to just before that line, so there. This one's going to go back at 45, except I'm only going to go to about here. Once again, I just go back 1 block, which is to about where that dot is, right there. And I'll make that darker, and then I'm going to cut across. I'll bring this one down. Right. So there are the cabinet oblique and the cavalier oblique. Let's see if it makes sense based on what they did as well. So they go through and do the depth and for each, and they basically go through and do the same parts that we do, with this part in here being one of the trickier parts, is this line back in here that represents this little section right here. And then they want you to go. So I would suggest getting a piece of graph paper and trying it on your own. It would make, and I'll post attached to this. There'll be a piece of graph paper you can print out on the Schoology. I'll try to make that a part of the deal as well. Now, shading. What I would suggest is this: when it comes to shading, you want to do one side will be dark. Usually the top is the lightest. You just don't even touch it. Leave it white. The front will be the darkest, and the side will be in between. So, for example, like they show here, I'll shade in one of mine. So I'm going to leave the tops alone, there and there. Anything that faces the top I'm going to leave alone. Let me get rid of my construction lines here. There you go. But this front face, I'm going to make dark. Now you can see, if you take a look at their drawing, they suggest, and I agree, for the darkest ones, what we're going to do is we're going to do cross-hatching. We're going to go both ways on this thing. In other words, I'll go across this way, a bunch of horizontal lines, and then to make it even darker, I'm going to go vertically as well. And then for this side and this one, the ones that point to the right in this case, we're going to go medium, so we're just going to do the horizontals, and we're going to space them out a little bit. Like that, and like that. So we have 3 tones to this. We have dark, medium, and light. Generally, light will be at the top, medium on the sides, and the front will be dark. Try it with this one. All right, and this is the end of the second. Remember, Oblique had 2 parts because it got cut off. And when you're done this, you are going to continue on to the assignment, but we will talk about that in a moment. You'll get instructions from me if I haven't already.